Most people think body fat is just stored energy waiting to be burned through exercise. They are wrong. There is a type of fat sitting deep inside your abdomen right now. It wraps around your liver, pancreas, and intestines silently. Scientists call it visceral fat, but here is what makes it completely different from the fat you can pinch. Visceral fat does not behave like passive storage. It behaves like an active organ that constantly communicates with your hormones. It is packed with receptors that listen for biochemical signals all day long. Specifically, it listens to insulin and cortisol. This means visceral fat is not waiting for you to burn calories. It is waiting for your hormones to give instructions. When those hormones say store energy, visceral fat locks itself down completely. No amount of exercise changes that signal. Most people respond to stubborn fat by pushing harder. More exercise, fewer calories, more discipline every single day. But visceral fat treats that pressure as a threat. It tightens its hold rather than releasing anything stored inside. Thousands of years ago, this protection made perfect sense. Visceral fat kept humans alive during famine and physical danger. Your body still carries that ancient programming today, and modern life accidentally triggers those same survival signals constantly. Chronic stress, poor sleep, rushed mornings, and blood sugar swings all tell your body the same thing: danger, store energy. Here is what almost nobody talks about. The most important metabolic moment of your entire day happens right after waking. In that first hour, your body is quietly deciding how energy will flow for the next 12 hours. Two people can eat the same food and follow the same diet. Their results can be completely different because of their mornings. Your hormones are answering one simple biological question before your conscious mind even begins planning anything. Is this environment safe enough to use energy freely, or unpredictable enough that energy must be stored and protected? Your morning routine answers that question before breakfast, before coffee, before you check your phone or start your day. When you wake up, cortisol naturally begins rising to transition your body from sleep into alertness and movement. At the same time, your liver releases glucose into the bloodstream so your brain and muscles have immediate available fuel. Because you have not eaten yet, insulin remains relatively low. This creates a short but powerful metabolic window. Energy is circulating in your blood. It has not yet been directed into storage. Your body is ready to use it. But this window does not stay open forever. What you do in the next 30 minutes either opens it wider or closes it. If your morning begins with stress, rushing, or a meal that spikes blood sugar, insulin rises quickly and sharply. The moment insulin spikes, a biological switch flips. Your body stops accessing stored fat and begins locking energy away. Visceral fat receives that chemical message clearly. Hold on, protect reserves. This environment feels unpredictable and potentially dangerous. But if your morning begins differently, the entire hormonal message changes completely, and your metabolism responds accordingly. Calm movement, natural light, and gradual activation tell your body something very different. Energy can flow safely today. Insulin stays low. Glucose gets used by active muscles. Visceral fat loses its chemical protection and becomes accessible. This is where a simple, almost boring behavior becomes quietly powerful in ways that science is only beginning to fully understand. Walking. Not intense exercise, not a structured workout, just gentle, relaxed walking for 10 to 20 minutes after waking. When muscles contract during walking, they activate something called GLUT4 transporters inside your muscle cells. These transporters move to the surface of muscle cells and act like tiny doors, pulling glucose directly out of your bloodstream. This process does not rely heavily on insulin. Muscles absorb glucose on their own through movement and contraction. Because insulin does not need to spike to manage blood glucose, the entire storage signal never gets triggered. Glucose gets used, insulin stays calm, and visceral fat remains chemically accessible rather than locked inside protective storage. Over the next several hours, your body becomes more comfortable switching between glucose and fat as available fuel sources. Scientists call this metabolic flexibility. When it improves, your body stops clinging to carbohydrates and starts using stored energy. Visceral fat is especially sensitive to insulin levels. When insulin stays low, it becomes one of the first reserves mobilized. This shift does not feel dramatic. You will not suddenly feel fat melting off during your morning walk outside. But the direction of your metabolism changes, and that direction quietly influences every meal, every hour, every decision that follows. Timing is what makes this work. Walking is not magic. Walking at this specific moment in the morning is. During those early minutes, your hormones are already in motion. You are not creating a new signal from nothing. You are simply aligning your behavior with a biological window that your body opens naturally every single morning. When that alignment happens consistently, the body does not need to be forced. The conditions naturally allow fat to release. There is also something happening in your liver during this early morning movement that most people completely overlook. When your liver senses that muscles are actively absorbing glucose, it reduces unnecessary glucose production later in the day. This stabilizes blood sugar across the afternoon and evening. Stable blood sugar means calmer insulin throughout the entire day. Calmer insulin throughout the day means fat stays accessible for longer periods instead of constantly being chemically locked away. Cortisol also plays a fascinating role here. Most people think of cortisol only as a stress hormone. That is incomplete. Cortisol follows a natural daily rhythm. It rises in the morning to support alertness and energy mobilization naturally. When morning movement is gentle and calm, cortisol follows that natural curve. It rises, supports energy, and gradually declines. But when the morning begins with intense effort, psychological stress, or overstimulation, cortisol spikes sharply beyond its natural range. That sharp spike sends a defensive signal throughout the body. The environment feels unstable. Energy must be conserved and protected. This explains a confusing paradox that frustrates many people trying to lose fat through aggressive morning workouts. Intense exercise has real benefits for health and muscle, but immediately after waking, in a fasted and stressed state, it backfires. The hormonal aftermath of that session can leave the body in energy conservation mode for hours after the workout ends. Gentle walking avoids that entirely. Instead of triggering defense, it signals safe transition from rest into natural daily activity. The routine that works is surprisingly simple. 3 elements. Each one reinforces the same biological message to your body. First, get natural light within minutes of waking. Step outside or stand near a bright window and let daylight reach your eyes. This synchronizes your brain's internal clock, aligns your cortisol curve, and begins stabilizing hormonal patterns for the entire day. Second, take a relaxed walk for 10 to 20 minutes. Do not push the pace. Do not make it feel like exercise. The goal is calm muscle contraction, not calorie burning. Your muscles are doing metabolic work that you cannot even feel happening. Third, wait before eating. Allow your body time to transition from sleep into movement before introducing a large incoming meal. This is not extreme fasting. It is simply giving the metabolic window time to do its quiet work before closing it with food. These 3 steps together send one consistent biological message every single morning. Energy can flow. The environment is safe today. Now, here are the mistakes that silently destroy everything this routine is trying to accomplish inside your metabolism. The most common mistake is turning the walk into a workout. Faster pace, weighted vest, steep hills, heavy breathing. The moment your body perceives stress, cortisol spikes, the defensive signal fires, and visceral fat locks back down immediately. The second mistake is stacking stimulants. Large amounts of caffeine right after waking amplifies your stress response significantly. Combining caffeine with exercise on top of the natural cortisol awakening response creates unnecessary hormonal pressure every morning. The third mistake is overdoing it. Long walks, extended fasting, skipping meals entirely, trying to accelerate the process. This drops blood sugar too low. Cortisol rises to compensate. Insulin rebounds later. The body receives completely mixed signals. Simplicity is the entire point. Short, calm, repeatable behaviors done consistently outperform extreme strategies applied sporadically every single time. Over weeks and months, small hormonal shifts accumulate into large metabolic changes that no aggressive strategy can replicate. Morning glucose gets handled more efficiently. Insulin responses become calmer across the day. Energy levels feel steadier and more consistent. Appetite regulates itself more naturally. The body grows increasingly comfortable drawing on stored fat between meals without resistance. Visceral fat does not vanish overnight, but when the hormonal environment consistently signals safety, its defensive purpose begins to fade. Instead of clinging to reserves, the body gradually begins releasing what it no longer believes it needs to protect. This is the quiet biology behind sustainable fat loss, not punishment, not exhaustion, not extreme discipline applied with white-knuckle effort. Just the right conditions created at the right moment, sending the right message to a body that is always listening. So rather than asking how many calories you burned this morning, ask yourself a more honest and useful question instead. What message did your body receive when it woke up today? Did it receive urgency, stress, and immediate stimulation? Or did it receive calm activation, natural light, and the quiet signal that today is safe enough to use energy freely? Those 2 mornings look almost identical from the outside, but internally they lead your metabolism in completely opposite directions. And over months and years, those directions shape outcomes that no amount of harder effort could ever fully reverse or correct. Try one simple experiment for the next 7 days. Morning light, 10 minutes of relaxed walking, then wait before eating breakfast. Do not change your diet. Do not add workouts. Just observe your energy, hunger, and mental clarity throughout each day. Your body will begin answering questions that the scale never could, because visceral fat is not burned through force or punishment. It is released when your body no longer believes it needs to protect itself, and that belief changes one quiet morning at a time.